Hello once again. I've opened up the curtains again. Oh, I should close my door. Hang on. There we go. That'll take care of some of the background noise. I've opened up the curtains again. That's why I look a little bit blue and washed out, but I'm doing it for the plants who could use it. This is another edition of Stephen Follows Instructions. Hi, I'm Stephen Downs, looking into the camera, trying to frame the shot, not necessarily succeeding. This should be a short one. It's setting environmental variables for a ghost Docker container in Reclaim Cloud. Now, a ghost Docker container isn't an ephemeral piece of shipping hardware. It is, of course, a container application, which is like a virtual computer running a blogging platform called Ghost. And if you look through the playlist, you'll see that I've done a couple of other videos where I actually have set that up and installed it. Here now I'm setting up environmental variables. Now, what does that mean? Well, your web application typically has some variables that you want to give it, like the admin password or the database password, stuff like that. And the old way of doing it was to either hard code it right into the software, which made distribution of the software a bit problematic, or you'd put it in a separate configuration file. And the problem with that, of course, is that anyone who gets into your server can see your configuration file and can see all of your environmental variables, including all of your passwords. Not good. So the recommended way of doing that these days, and you'll see this, I've seen this on other platforms as well, for example, DigitalOcean, is you use the cloud interface tool to set your variables, and then you pick up your variables using your software. I've run into problems with that in the past using an Apache environment because Apache overrides the environmental variables, and so you can't get them. But with Ghost, the way we've set it up is we have a Ghost application, and then we also have a load balancer called Nginx, and Nginx picks up environmental variables just fine. Or at least that's the theory. So let's see how this works. I'm not sure whether we'll use Nginx to pick up the environmental variables or whether we'll use Ghost. I don't know how Jim has done it. I haven't read this article yet. Beyond reading the title. It's from a couple of days ago, and it's just been in the back of my mind. He's got another one on configuring email, which I want to do after this. But for now, let's get this one. So let's see what we've got here. So I'll just move that over a little bit so you can all see that. Text is pretty good sized, I think. So blah 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 blah, hard code's bad, blah 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 blah. Okay, so in a Docker container you need an environmental variable file, etc., etc. So what I just described, right? So the proper way to deal with this issue in Reclaim Cloud is to add the URL variable to the container environment, just like I said. In the Ghost application container, go to, all right, so he's struggling to get a mapped URL for a Ghost container resolving consistently to the main URL. Several subpages were defaulting to localhost, which is bad, which is hard-coded in the JSON file. Right. Okay, so let's then do what he says. Okay, so we're going to have to go into Reclaim. So there's me and my cat. just because. I mean, why not? Right. Where am I going? I'm going home. I'm going to Reclaim Cloud. And the URL for Reclaim Cloud is simply reclaim.cloud. I have to log in. So I use a password manager to log in. So this is my master password for my password manager. I'm going to autofill and log in. So, all of this has cost me $10 since a little while ago. All right. That's because I'm running like 3 separate containers at the moment, including Leftish Media. I really should have done the Stephen Follows instructions on that, because I moved leftish.media from WordPress to Reclaim. It took me about a day and a half to do. Probably would have taken me a week if I'd done it, following instructions. Anyhow, downs.ghost. All right, so let's get back to what Jim's telling us we need to do. So, add URL variables in the Ghost application container. Okay, so we're going right to the Ghost container. Click to additional settings, variables. So Ghost. So the application server is down here. Can I make this bigger? Oh yeah. Okay. And we don't need to look at that. All right, so here's the Ghost. There's my Nginx load balancer. Here's my application server. Okay, so let's see which one of these. Yeah, I got 2 things here, right? I've got application server and then this thing under the application server, and which says node ID. Let's see which one he's going for. Just where it says application server. Okay, so the upper one. So application server and variables. Oh, there it is at the top. Okay. All right. So these are already defined variables for my Ghost container. So let's look at some of these, like yarn version, node version, node environment, Ghost install. That's the install directory. Command line interface, version, Docker exposed port 2368. So that's the port that this Ghost application is exposing its data on. The Nginx will read from this port to send out content to the wider world. All right, so there we go. So that's pretty simple. From there, click on the green Add button. The green Add button. Okay, Add. So let's click Add. So the name is the name of the variable, and the value is the value of the variable. Couldn't be easier, or couldn't be harder. So now you need to add the URL variable. Keep in mind URL needs to be lowercase. All right. And then his is ghost.bavatuesdays.com. Mine, as I recall, is ghost.downs.ca, but let's just verify that. Ghost.downs.ca. I don't actually use this for anything, but yeah, there it is. Okay, good. So, and I believe it's HTTPS. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, I'll just copy that so I don't need to retype it because I'm lazy. So URL, which remember has to be lowercase, URL, and then the value. So I put the value in and I'll hit save. And it's done. All right. So now let's see. This will ensure your environment loads cleanly over a mapped domain and all references to the domain URL are updated throughout the container. Be sure to restart the application container, not the load balancer, and give it a minute or so and the site will come back up. This solution helped me stop using the hack of cloning the site with an edited UR field in the config production JSON file to fix the issue. Yes, while also solving my adjacent issue with setting up the newsletter support emails. So we're going to need this for the next thing anyways. Another variable I added was my mail from, you can see. So, okay, so that's 2 underscores. So let's put that in here anyways. So there's no such container or no such email address, but mail 2 underscore from, and I'll make that ghost at downs.ca. Now this doesn't actually exist yet, but I'm defining it here so I won't have to come back here later if I have to come back here later. Right, this file, oh yeah, this config production file, I assume, is found in the varlib ghost directory of the official ghost. Okay, Taylor. Installing Ghost using the official Docker container uses so much fewer resources than the marketplace installer once we know we have a good understanding of all little facets, etc. It was a thumbs up. All right. So, yeah, fair enough. If they redo that, I'll test it again because sure, why not? These are fun. Okay, so that's it. I told you it'd be a short video. It would have been nice, Jim, if there had been a way of testing. You know, I mean, and this is really common with a lot of these instruction videos, right? They give you some instructions, but then they don't give you a way of testing so that you know that it worked. Just a little thing. Anyhow, so you're supposed to restart this. So why don't I restart this then? Why don't I restart it? Because I can't restart this. Because my, oh boy. Let's make this smaller again. There we go. Huh. Smaller. Oh, apply. All right. There we go. Bigger. Whoops. So how am I going to restart Ghost? Restart containers. Okay, so I'll just restart that. No big deal there. And that'll restart. I don't think this counts as testing it at all. Although, you know, if I had made some sort of error, I don't see how I could have, but if I had made some sort of error, it might show up here. Would be nice to have a way of testing it. So anyhow, it's going to do its thing restarting. I'm sure that's not going to be an issue. If it is, that issue will show up right at the beginning of the next video. So I'm going to stop this video and we'll move on to the next thing.